When we're talking about immigration enforcement, I think that it should be humane. I talk about our pride in being a sanctuary city in terms of the policies that we practice. I'll give you an example of those policies. We are willing to work with the federal government on more than 170 serious crimes.
I got to stop right there. We are willing. I didn't know the federal government had to get permission from the mayor of New York City. We're willing to work with you. Think about the arrogance of this asshat. For him to come out and say, we're willing to work with the United States government.
If someone has been convicted of them, what we are unwilling to do is to participate in civil immigration enforcement with a federal government that has said openly it wants to deport a vast majority of people for crimes that we will never even know.
Dave Rubin said it pretty good, and I want you to keep this in mind. The fake smile, the half whisper. If you can't spot this jihadist in mayor's clothing, I don't know what to say. And we live in the United States of America, a sovereign nation, and you're going to get to this about the ICC stuff. If anyone should be arrested and deported, it's him. He's acting, you know how they had the whole no kings thing? This guy is acting as though he is in his own little kingdom. You're the mayor of a city, a mayor, and you're telling everybody how you might be willing to work with the United States government on this and that, but, not the other stuff. We don't find that that's what should be happening.
Right, is where I think I see the tension.
Have you ever been to the U.S.-Mexico border?
No. I think that what we've found from the Republican administration has been a desire to make any and all immigration illegal. And
no, nobody has said that. The conflation, how they put all this stuff together as if that's what Trump and Republicans and Americans want. We don't want any immigration. A, nobody has ever said that. B, they don't make any sort of delineation. There is no line between illegal immigration and immigration. You will never hear them ever differentiate. It's all the same thing as far as they are concerned. That's one of their biggest issues. They keep trying to tell Americans, oh, you guys just don't want immigrants. No, stop saying that. We need to fight back. You're missing the qualifier. We don't want people who aren't supposed to be here. My father was an immigrant. He came through the front door. What the hell do you people not understand about going through the front door? I know what they don't understand. You see, going through the front door requires a number of different steps that these people don't want to take. You come in through the back door and you just get to come in. You don't have to learn. You don't have to assimilate. You don't have to swear allegiance. That's what they have a problem with. You come through the front door, you got to go through classes, you got to learn different things, you got to agree, you have to make a contract to do certain things, and you got to pledge allegiance. That's the problem that they're having. Our front door has way too many qualifications, and it has a contract. The back door, they just want people to slide in.
I sit before you as one of the first immigrant mayors of our city in generations. I lead a city where of 8.5 million people, more than 3 million are immigrants. And so when we're talking about legitimate claims to asylum, I think that those should be honored.
Okay, legitimate claims to asylum. So he feels anybody who wants asylum should get asylum. Asylum is not a guaranteed thing. Just because you'd like to have asylum doesn't necessarily mean you will be granted asylum. How many of you know that? It is a privilege. It is not a right. Mamdani and his ilk, they think asylum should be a privilege. The privilege is ours. not theirs. And as you know, in order to claim asylum, you have to have, the only way you can do it here is if Mexico is oppressing you. If you're coming through Mexico, that's where you have to claim asylum, not here. Hey, my country, there's gangs trying to kill me. Where did you end up? You either ended up in Mexico or Canada. That's your problem. Those two countries don't have that. If you're running from Haiti, if you're running from Mongolia or some other country and you're oppressed over there politically or racially or whatever, it's the next place you get to that doesn't have the oppression, doesn't have the danger. So as you come crossing against the, where the coyotes are and everything else, you're in a country that doesn't have that problem. You come across the Rio Grande, where you're swimming from doesn't have the problem. You have to stay in Mexico. It's very simple. The laws are what they are. Front door or asylum. Front door, you got to stand in line. Asylum, you got to go to the country, the first country that can be a safe harbor. And in our country, just happen to be where we are, you got Canada and you got Mexico. Unless, of course, you come over on a boat from someplace over there or over there, and in any event, then you're going to have to prove it. But I don't think that's what we're looking for. We just want everybody to be in America.
When we're talking about immigration enforcement, I think that it should be humane. I talk about our pride in being a sanctuary city in terms of the policies that we practice.
It should be humane. Let's define that for a second. What is not humane about stopping in Mexico or Canada? What is not humane, and this is very important for these people, if you're not supposed to be in the country and you're offered $2,000 and a plane ticket to get the hell out, I think that's really, really humane. That's fantastic. I get $2,000 to get out and an airplane ticket, and I have the ability to come back in? Yeah. Somebody want to tell me anywhere where that's not humane? Now, the contrary, I'm not supposed to be here, and I fight you to stay here. I become an adversary. I don't want to go, so I'm doing all kinds of different things to make sure I don't get deported. Well, you've kind of forfeited your humanity. And I don't mean that you need to be shot in the head just because you didn't do it, but if you come after somebody with a car, or you come after somebody with a gun, then you definitely forfeit your rights to humane treatment. But I really have a problem with the smiling Jack routine.
I'll give you an example of those policies. We are willing to work with the federal government on more than 170 serious crimes.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine telling the federal government, hey, listen, I'm living my life here in Boca, but I only want you guys to worry about 170 crimes. I don't know how many there are on the books, but the other ones, I'm good. Yeah, if I break those, don't come after me. They don't really mean much. So, here's my list. Here's the stuff that I'm willing to be arrested for if you catch me. These 170 here, all right? Anything not on this list, don't leave me alone.
If someone has been convicted of them, what we are unwilling to do is to participate in civil immigration enforcement with a federal government that has said openly it wants to deport a vast majority of people for crimes that we will never even know.
It's none of your business to know. I should have looked up before I began. I should have looked up the oath of the mayor of New York. It's probably pretty similar to other oaths. I'm pretty sure it says somewhere in there, uphold the laws of the United States. I'm pretty sure, even as crazy as New York is, there's some lines that say, I got to uphold the laws of America, and I swear to protect Americans. I don't think there's in there check off the box if you agree. Oh, wait a minute. We need to add an addendum. I only need to look at these 170. That's all. I'll protect Americans as long as the illegals come first. Because we got to do it humanely.
That is where I think I see the tension.
Have you ever been to the U.S.-Mexico border?
No. And I would say that I'm still very much focused in this year, but I do believe that we all have to take a step back and appreciate what it is that she means to so many across this country. And
so the question was, do you think AOC could be the president or the vice president? And he's like, yeah, she means so much to so many people. Really?
reason for it is the work that she has done.
You think she'd make a good president?
I think she would make a good anything. I think she's a great congresswoman. I think no matter what she decides to do, she's going to bring those same qualities to whatever that work is.
Krisha Edie, good morning. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez refusing to distance herself from one of the Democratic Socialists of America's most controversial platforms. Now, when I asked her whether she rejects the group's call to abolish the U.S. Senate, the New York Democrat repeatedly declined to reject the plan. And when I pressed her on whether she supports the institution, Ocasio-Cortez suggested elements of the Senate were racist.
I don't support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on Jim Crow.
When was the Senate established? And then when was Jim Crow established or happened? You're talking about 180 years later? So if Jim Crow didn't happen till 180 years later, what in the hell are you talking about? And I'm glad to find out, maybe John Thune should talk to AOC, she's not in favor of the filibuster. Oh, so why don't we break it? Did she realize what she just said? I'm not in favor of the filibuster. Good. Good. Tell the other Democrats to vote against the filibuster and let's break it. Can we do that? Since we have you on tape right now saying, I'm not for the filibuster. And Jim Crow, which happened way after the Senate was established. But this is your presidential candidate. At least she understands how to speak many different dialects.
Brothers and sisters, we cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. There is no country when we are split apart. About a month or two ago, we were in Montgomery, Alabama. Sister Presley and I were in Montgomery, Alabama. And one of the things that we said was that it is time for the North to roll up to the South.
That's all I can say. You want to roll up, bring it. I know I speak for many people who live below the Mason-Dixon line who would gladly accept your proposition. You want to roll up? Come on. Stop with all the talk. I'm ready. I know many of you are ready. Roll up. Do what you got to do. Bring your best. And make sure you ain't talking to Sister Alyssa Presley at the same time, because we go about to roll up. Bring it. These people are so full. I almost lost my language there. They're so full of crap, and the idiots behind them. You don't realize where you're heading with this. You are now stepping on toes. You are now threatening Americans. You are now trying to tell Americans, oh, we got it good up in here in New York and Massachusetts. We need to roll up in the South. I don't think she knows there's places down here where people disappear. There are places down in the South, unlike up north, well, maybe the Jersey swamps, where people won't even know you existed. There are places here where you could just be walking down the street and then some dinosaur come and snatch you off the street. Y'all don't even know how to swim. And by the way, we all carry. And some people here in Florida open carry. So when you pull up, duck.
It is long past time that we help our brothers and sisters wake up to.
What are you, fucking stupid? Huh?
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is perhaps planning to visit New York for the...
All right. Now, this is a clip that goes about 45 seconds that President Trump and every single Republican should now cut this, clip this, play it to their friends. And let me just preface this. She's talking about Netanyahu. I don't care if you're anti-Israel. I don't care if you hate Netanyahu's guts. You got to listen to his premise here.
UN General Assembly. You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague.
I don't give a shit what you believe. He believes what he just said was Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. Hague is the international jail and court. The Hague. You're the mayor of New York City in the United States of America. You know, we all believe you should be deported back to Uganda, but that ain't going to happen anytime soon, unless it does. So he's saying that Netanyahu, let me tell you under what basis he feels this way.
He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years.
Does he realize that we don't give a crap about the international whatever, the League of Men, whatever it is over there, and they have their all grand poopas and they put on their water buffalo hats and swear to whatever, and there's like, we're going to put him in jail. What the hell does that have to do with the United States? So this guy is actually conspiring behind the scenes to throw another world leader who has diplomatic immunity in jail because of the grand poopas with the buffalo hats over there said that he's under indictment. Now, this is the part where insert any leader's name. Forget Netanyahu. I don't care if you hate the Jews. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the person is. This guy, the mayor of New York, where the United Nations is telling the world if the ICC thinks you're a bad guy, New York can pluck you off the street and put you in jail. Under what authority do you have there? That's where you should be very concerned, and that's where you should be clipping this video and go, these people have gone, excuse my language, absolutely effing batshit crazy. No wonder they want to destroy the Declaration of Independence. They don't want any of our customs and laws to be upheld. The international community of buffalo head wearing people, I don't care what they think. Unbelievable. I saw this by Will Chamberlain. He goes, Mamdani arguably violated 18 U.S.C. 875 and 18 U.S.C. 878, which you can look up clearly with this statement. He should be placed under immediate federal investigation. Immediately. He is basically saying that he and his whatever cohorts are actively planning how to arrest a world leader when they step foot into America under no authority given to him. And you're worried about where these socialists aren't paying rent? This is really bad. The fact that he sat there and smiled and he was quiet and whispered, he goes, they're conspiring to put a world leader in jail and hand him off to some international crime commission. That has to be somewhat treasonous. Where does he get off thinking this? And he has no problem saying it. That's the scariest thing about these people, is nobody can say a year from now, you didn't know it was coming. Nobody can say, they just snuck in. It just happened. We didn't even know this was going to happen. They're smiling. They're whispering and telling you, we're going to rip up your Declaration of Independence. We're going to take away your unalienable rights. You will not pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And if we throwing you in a jail through an international commission, well, you're just going to have to deal with it. Freak you out? It should. Because nobody's doing anything about it that we know of, and they keep telling us what's coming. So we need to record this stuff and let every Republican know, you need to come out and say right now, I'm against this. We need to destroy this in toxic crap that's going around, this infection in our country.
Said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in.
Did you hear what he said? I will follow. No, I'm sorry. I got to do it again. I will follow the laws we have here in New York City. No, that's not the answer. I will follow the laws of the United States of America. I don't know what your laws are in New York City. You guys could be raising hands and doing crazy stuff every other day. The laws of the United States say, number one, we don't care about the water buffalo heads. No, the ICC doesn't mean crap here. This is an outright threat. This is an insurgency. This is a man who's inviting the international community to govern America. If you didn't hear this right now, this should be freaking you the F out. The mayor of New York City has been conspiring to throw out international leaders to another criminal board. What makes you think if the ICC said President Trump is a war criminal? J.D. Vance is a war criminal. Mike Johnson, war criminal. The ICC said it. The ICC is going to indict people. And, if you step foot in New York, we might have people round you up. Now, I do think if he did that, it would be a suicide mission, literally. I think it would be a suicide mission that he doesn't want to get into. Number one, I don't think there's a single cop in New York City who would enforce that. I could be wrong. He may have brought in some jihadists and made them a certain level of police. But number two, you'd be a lot of dead people, maybe even himself, because the people guarding him would probably take him out. Oh, wait a second. I forgot. Do you know who guards guests when they come here? You understand when Netanyahu gets into America, it's not the Mossad, even though they're probably around him too. Who has the responsibility of guarding a world leader, even a hostile world leader? The Secret Service. So this asshat is telling the world, the international crime community, whatever, that we may arrest him, and then you're going to put the Secret Service in a position where you're going to, here, look at this. U.S. Ambassador to the United States, Mike Waltz. Mayor Mamdani, here's why your threat to arrest Netanyahu during the General Assembly is not going to happen. The U.S. is not party to the Rome Statute that underlies the ICC. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections to visiting heads of government. Heads of state immunity applies, and federal authority trumps any major local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater. But see, with these people, the political theater may go more from theater to reality, because I could actually see him trying it. I think he's got the cojones where he thinks, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I would love the exposure and all the press I'll get from trying to arrest Netanyahu, because all the little socialist dummies and anti-Israel people would love it and applaud it. So I think he would actually try it.
Following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
Even the woman from New York Times is like, what the hell does this mean? What is this word salad that you just spewed and vomited all over my dress here? Either you are or not going to try and arrest Bibi Netanyahu. Quit dancing with me and smiling like Jack Nicholson in the Batman movie. What the hell are you going to do? This should be a real easy layup, Mamdani. This should be the easiest answer ever. Oh, no, I can't do that. I don't have the authority to do that. I would never do that. Even though I think he's a war criminal, even though I think he's, killing Palestinians and Gazans and, anybody else who wears a towel on their head. But I don't have any authority to do any of this stuff. That's the answer to the question. Not smile. I'll do whatever I can legally. You can't do shit. You can't do shit. Get it through your head. What the hell does that answer? I love the fact that the lady from the New York Times asked him that, like, what the hell are you talking about? Here, I want you to hear that again. Let's go back like 5 seconds. Because she actually, what does that even mean?
Also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City, because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that.
See, these guys, they've learned the definition of malignant repetition, I'll call it. He said the same thing twice. What the hell does that mean? It means, and he says the exact same thing, when a simple answer could have sufficed. So now, if you're Netanyahu, if you're the Secret Service, if you're President Trump, if you're J.D. Vance, you're like, what is this idiot doing? Now we got to make sure we extra protect Netanyahu from our own people. This man is saying, I'm going to subvert, hey, honey, I'm going to subvert the United States president. I'm going to subvert the United Nations. And I'm going to go over here with the buffalo hat wearing dudes and say we're going to put him in jail. All for optics. That's the only reason he's doing it, because it'll be on every newscast. He knows it'll be on every newscast internationally. Everybody will see it. It will make him a hero. The anti-Israel crowd will be so happy that he tried to arrest Netanyahu, but he was turned away. They wouldn't let him arrest the war criminal. We are in dangerous territory right now. We are, after what happened with President Trump's announcement, with the news saying, we'll let you know, we'll filter out what you can and can't see, because, it's dangerous. But we all can see this. That's not dangerous?
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department.
Oh, very simple question. Okay, so you're going to do whatever the law allows you. What's the law do? What's the law say? We're having active conversation. He's planning it. He's signaling it to his orcs. He's letting everybody know with the smile and the nod, we're talking about it. We're going to figure out a way how to make this a big scene. And if I was Bibi Netanyahu, I would land a plane and just give him the double-barreled middle fingers and say, bring it. Bring it on. Who the hell does this guy think he is, other than a danger to America?
In seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes to write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality. That's not something we have an interest in.
I mean, normally when people come to a UN General Assembly, they're granted a sort of amnesty because it is the seat of the United Nations. Is that what you're thinking that you'll honor, or you're actively looking to see if you can actually arrest him?
I think we are looking at all of our legal obligations and what.
Wow. She threw him a softball. You understand that when people come here and are at the United Nations, they have, the diplomatic immunities. That's what you're saying, right? That's not what he said. He's like, we're looking at all our, you have no options. What the hell are you looking at? What options are you trying to decide at this point? I hope each and every one of you watching sees the danger here. Here's why it's extremely dangerous. He is, in essence, the titular head of this commie movement. But he's not alone. They're getting elected in different cities across the country. And so what happens if, I don't know, the mayor of Boston wants to start arresting people from the ICC indictments? What if the mayor of Seattle, the mayor of Portland, the mayor of Baltimore, mayor of Detroit, mayor of Chicago? These people are copycats. And they're seeing right now, today, this interview came out today, that the guy in New York's like, hey, we got some options here about doing something. No, you don't. You think we need the Insurrection Act? You think we might need to go something Jacksonian? You think we need to go into martial law? That will trigger it. That will definitely trigger something. This guy is effing sane, but he's not. See, that saying these people are crazy, I have to recommit myself and realize they're not crazy. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how it will be received. He will be a hero. It will cause mayhem. It will be an international incident, which is everything he wants, which is everything they want. What's he planning? I don't know. Riots? Possibly. Violence in the street? Following him to his hotel? See, everything at this point, if Netanyahu lands and they can't snatch him at the airport, probably most likely New York's involved in everything he's doing. What restaurants he may eat, what hotel he's going to stay in. Would you trust him to keep confidence? No. So this is something that, like I said, I have 2 interviews for you today. One took place yesterday, that just makes you go, wait a second. We've actually traversed into the twilight zone.
One of them is with regards to the United Nations, but the other part of this is we're not talking about a personal assessment of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're talking about the International Criminal Court.
Who cares? I'm serious. The International Criminal Court, that's his higher power at this point. Not the United States Constitution, not our borders, not the president, not anything to do with America. It's the International Court. And so she gave him 3 or 4 attempts here. You want to clarify this? You sure you want this message going out? Are you really sure this is what you want to say? And he didn't back down once.
And the fact that they have a warrant out for this prime minister's arrest. And I think it's important to talk about the weight that has as a charge. And all.
It doesn't have any weight. We're in America. This has gone on way too far. At this point, she should have said, what the hell are you saying? Stop with all the smiling and smiling Jack and whispering shit. What are you saying? Are you saying that you are really considering arresting the president of Israel on United States soil? Are you actually saying that? Because he's trying to dance and he's being cute when we can hear what he's saying. He's letting the world know. He knew this was the New York Times. He understood people would be sharing this video. And he's playing coy with an international incident. Could this not be considered treason or sedition? I don't know. Is it dangerous? Absolutely.
So that as the mayor of New York City, I'll be following the laws of New York City.
Okay.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I saw that today, and I'm like, we are in such big trouble because people aren't paying attention. And we have an entire movement who are trying to subvert our country and saying bat poop crazy stuff like this.